Before I begin my speech, I'd like to let you know that this is not my political view. I'm going to try to deliver as much of an unbiased speech as I can. Not my president. We saw this all over social media, all over protests and marches for days after the 2016 presidential election. Why? Because so many people were outraged with the results. People claimed it was rigged. They stood for hours yelling and screaming and even getting violent, taking pepper spray to the eyes because they were not happy that Donald Trump won the election. Why? Because Hillary Clinton won the popular vote. This distortion also happened in 2000 with George W. Bush versus Al Gore, and in 1824, 1876, and 1888, according to Jason Markusoff's 2016 article published in Maclean's. How could this happen? Well, it happened because of a system called the Electoral College. When we vote, we actually don't vote directly for the president. We vote for that candidate's electors. Whichever candidate has the most votes in our state sends all of his or her electors to the Electoral College, where those electors vote directly for the president. This current system is detrimental to our nation because it does not accurately represent our nation during elections and during campaigns. However, if we were to change our system so that Americans could be better represented, we would have less protests like these and have an equal say in our government. The problem with this system is that it doesn't accurately represent our nation. David Granger says that 48 states appoint their electors under the winner-take-all system, where the winner of the state's popular vote receives the state's entire share of Electoral College votes, in his 2008 article published in Columbia Law Review. This means that the minority in that specific state does not have a chance at being represented. Because most states vote pretty consistently, they are expected to vote the same way each year. The exception to this rule is a swing state. Swing states hold the most power in elections. Why? These are the states that could really go either way. They don't have a consistent trend. So candidates spend the most time campaigning there. According to Silverstein's 2017 article published in Washington Monthly, Clinton and Trump and their running mates made a total of 399 campaign appearances after officially winning their party's nomination. 375 out of 399 visits were in the top 12 most competitive states. Most of those candidates only came to California for their sponsors, not to try to get votes. Former California Senator Barbara Boxer says that the candidates don't even bother to campaign for the votes in most states because they are either blue or red, meaning typically Democratic or typically Republican, respectively, in a 2017 article published in Congressional Digest. It's no news that Americans have a problem with the Electoral College. According to both John Nichols in Democracy Denied and Emilio Lianza in DC by the Numbers, there have been 700 proposals to change or get rid of the Electoral College as of 2016. So how should we fix the system? This map is a map of how the electoral votes were distributed during the 2016 election, as shown on 270towin.com. If you're into that stuff, it's a great resource. So let's take a look at California. California gave 55 electoral votes to Hillary Clinton because Hillary Clinton won the majority in our state. Now, let's take a look at Maine. As you'll notice, Maine is the only striped state on the map. What does that mean? Well, Maine sent one electoral vote to Donald Trump. Those are the red stripes, because Donald Trump won in one of their districts. Maine sent one electoral vote to Hillary Clinton because Hillary Clinton won in the other district. Hillary Clinton also won the majority in Maine So Maine sent its additional 2 electoral votes to Hillary Clinton. Nebraska also does this. It's just a little harder to see because they all voted for Donald Trump. This is nice because it's a better representation of the people in each district without making it impossible to know the winner of each state on election day. This also still gives the states power in electing the president while allowing for better representation of the people. If the U.S. were to adopt this district-by-district approach, Republicans in California would no longer see voting as an exercise in futility. Liberals in Texas would not feel like their votes were useless. If every state adopted this approach, we would get much closer to a one-person, one-vote election. As Barbara Boxer sees it, every Republican would get out, and every Democrat would get out, and every independent would get out because their vote would still count. This would better represent the people, so the people as a whole would be happier with the result. There would be no claims of voter fraud, no claims that the election was rigged by Russia, no screaming protests with the cry, "Not my president." So what should we do? Well, something very important for us as young people is to register to vote and to go out on election day. It's very important for us to vote so that we also have a say in government. After all, we're the ones that are going to be affected by it. It's our world to change. You can also contact your representative. Their job is to represent the people in Congress, so share your opinion with them. In San Luis Obispo, the House representative is Salud Carbajal, and our 2 senators are Kamala Harris and Dianne Feinstein. If enough people share their opinion, our congressmen could make a bill that could fix the misrepresentation of our nation due to the current electoral college system. Thank you.